right before FMU started, I was a social worker, and I was running an after-school program for at-risk kids on the east side of Cleveland, among some other social work projects.
I was a preschool teacher and a nanny, and then right before we started FMU is when I got pregnant with Gio.
Yeah, so we were getting ready to have our first son.
Mm-hmm.
We also started teaching, I started teaching some classes at the YMCA on the side because I love doing fitness, so I started dabbling in it for some group training classes just to get experience. Why did we start FMU? I know it was a strong call on our heart that we wanted to start something for kids when it came to fitness because there was really nothing going on, and then we wanted to combine our faith with it too. So we kept saying we want to help people, we love kids, and we love fitness, so how do we make it all happen?
Right.
I think the number one question was, if you can do anything in your life and money wasn't an issue, what would it be? And that's what we dialed it down to.
Right.
It was very challenging to start FMU because we had no clue what we were doing.
As I say, we've had no business experience whatsoever.
None.
The only thing that we had experience with was kids.
Yeah, we knew we loved kids.
Mm-hmm.
We had no financial backing to do this. We just had to go for it.
Right.
I mean, this was so early in our life together.
So we weren't in a position to take out a loan. We had no business experience. The only thing we had was a passion for kids and faith.
And I didn't even have a fitness certification at the time.
And that's how you know it was a God thing, because look where we are.
Because I remember doubting it. I didn't want to do it. And you said, if we're supposed to do this, you got to go for it.
Right.
And then we were sitting down at dinner with friends one night and brought to them our vision, and they said the same thing. They said, if God's calling you to do it, then you need to take the leap and go for it.
Go ahead.
Well, financially, we went through 2 months without anything coming in, maybe 3 months without anything
That
coming
was
in.
scary. We went through our entire savings.
I think we had $150 coming in for 3 months straight, and did not know where the next project was going to come from or how we were going to. Again, we were just doing it. We didn't really have any system or strategy.
Right. So we started with 3 kids in our backyard.
Yeah, we started with 3 kids in our backyard. We just went for it.
And then slowly grew into having some more kids at the church
Yeah,
gym.
some adults in our garage.
Yep. And then
Went
the
to
adults,
the church gym.
Yep. And then the adults started in the gym too. And then eventually it got to the point where we couldn't use the space as much anymore because the school needed it.
Well, it was all body weight in that gym. And remember, I would pack dumbbells in the trunk and bring them over there.
Mm-hmm.
We would unload the trunk, bring the dumbbells in the gym, and everyone would help us after class, bring them back
But
into
those
the gym.
body weight workouts were the best, and we had so many people come to those.
We're
That
starting to
gym-
make a
that-
comeback
That
to it.
gym was packed.
After 10 years, we're almost like starting to want to go back to those basics again.
They were so good.
Isn't that funny how that happens?
Mm-hmm. The first few years were a challenge.
We spent time in that gym and doing body weight stuff and building up classes, and then I started to get projects out in the community, at the hospital, at schools. So I was starting to become half at the gym, half in the community, taking on any project that could. It started to become very all-consuming. We weren't charging anything because
Right.
we were just giving stuff
So we
away.
weren't making money, and you were working a ton.
Yeah.
I barely saw you.
Yeah, there's a lot of lessons I learned from
And,
that time.
you know, when you first start a business, you have to learn
Oh,
everything that
so
it takes
much.
to start a business.
It was like survival mode, and I was trying to figure out how the heck am I going to build something so that we can make money for this family.
Right.
And it started to become super straining on our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Just a bit.
Gio was just a baby, and I remember sitting on the porch thinking, what the heck are we doing? I was scared out of my mind. I was reading a checklist of all the different symptoms of postpartum depression, and I was sitting there crying, and I looked at you and I said, I think I have postpartum. Everything on there was making me sad, and it was something I was going through. I just remember being so overwhelmed, wondering if we would be able to make it,
Yeah.
if this was a smart choice. I was second guessing everything. That's kind of what was going
Yeah.
through my mind at the time.
And I said, we can't keep doing this. And I was like, God, if we're really supposed to do this, I mean, are we supposed to be struggling? No finances coming in to cover stuff. My wife's going through some serious stuff. I'm not around. What is happening? But even during that dark time, you were like, if this is what God wants us to do, we're writing a story for our kids.
Mm-hmm.
We're writing a story that when God calls you to do something, it's not supposed to be easy. So let's go for it. and we kept fighting, and we kept pursuing it.
But that had a really big strain on our relationship.
It got harder before it got better.
Yeah, for sure.
We went through a time where then the business was my main focus. You were on the back burner, and you weren't feeling loved. And then all of a sudden, the communication was just terrible, and our relationship was so strained that
You sometimes have a hard time talking about it.
yeah,
It
we
was,
got
it
to
was
a
bad.
we got to such a dark spot that it was actually having a conversation about divorce
Mm-hmm.
and not wanting to be with each other. And that's when we put our foot down